Hello and welcome. Today we shall look at the third chapter of your history. In the last class also I had discussed a few points. Today I'll look at those in details and see why the people of Assam were angry on the British rule. The first cause of anger was the introduction of revenue in cash. In Assam, as you know, there was the pike system. Nobody paid taxes in cash. People rendered services to the king, and this was the way of collection of taxes. But the British introduced collection of taxes in through cash, and that angered the people. The second point is the rise of the Mahajans. Now, since the British introduced paying taxes in cash, people needed money. Now, you will note here that most of the people of Assam are either peasants or farmers or aristocratic people, that is, the nobility. So the nobility had some cash in their hands, but the farmers had no cash in their hands. As such, they were forced to borrow money, and they had to borrow money from the Mahajans. Now, who were the Mahajans? The Mahajans basically were Marwari moneylenders. They were businessmen who had come into Assam when the British came into Assam because they saw a business opportunity here. So the Marwadis lent money to the people of Assam, and and the Mahajans became richer and the people became poorer. Remember, the Mahajans lent money to both the aristocrats and the peasants, so they were exploiting both these sections of the people. Now we shall move to the next point, which concerns that the British did nothing to develop agriculture in Assam. So on the one hand, they are taking cash taxes from the people, and on the other hand, they're doing nothing to develop agriculture, which is the only means of earning livelihood. Our next point is about the exploitation of the tea garden workers. Remember, when the British came into India, they introduced tea gardens in India, and to encourage tea plantation, they gave away large tracts of land to those who wanted to plant tea in Assam. Now, what they did was, this large amount of land that they gave was tax free. So, if you want to start a tea garden, you can get land from the Britishers in Assam, and that will be tax free. But remember, the British are very cunning people. They were always profit minded people. The British who came into India were very profit minded. So, how could they let the taxes go off their hands? So, what they did was that the poor tea laborers who worked in these tea gardens were forced to pay those taxes which stood against the land that was given free to the owners of the tea garden. You can understand the level of exploitation of the tea garden workers by the British. In class 9, you had studied how the British had destroyed the local industries of India. You remember the fate of the muslin workers. Similarly, in Assam, they destroyed our muga and other cottage industries that were there in Assam. The sixth point is why the priests became angry. You see, the priests in Assam, the Kshatradhikars of the Kshatras in Assam, they were entitled to tax-free land under the Ahoms. But when the British came into Assam, what they did was that they began to tax those land of the priests that were traditionally tax-free. So they made the priests angry. Thus, you can see that the British left every section of Assam angry. By every section, I mean they made the farmers angry, they made the tea laborers angry, they made the aristocrats angry, they made the priests angry. So every section of Assam was angry, and the situation, the background has now been created so that if there is a mutiny, then all the people of Assam are ready to join that mutiny. In our next class, we shall see how the Sepoy mutiny gained a lot of traction, a lot of popularity among the people of Assam. And the causes of that uh, support from the people of Assam, from every section of the people of Assam, is rooted in these angers that the British had generated, which we have discussed today.